Willow Creek was a quiet town, nestled in a picturesque valley and known for its friendly residents and slow pace of life. But that all changed one fateful summer when a clumsy thief began wreaking havoc on the otherwise peaceful town. It all started at the local bank. Mrs. Jenkins, the bank manager, was busy counting money at the counter when the door flew open and a masked figure stumbled in. The bandit was a sight to behold, dressed in mismatched clothes, with a ski mask that seemed too small for his head, and a pair of oversized gloves that made his hands look comically large. "Everybody freeze," he shouted, but his voice cracked halfway through, making him sound more like a squeaky toy than a fearsome criminal. Mrs. Jenkins raised an eyebrow. "Can I help you?" Yeah. This is a robbery. Put the money in the bag." The bandit fumbled with the sack, accidentally dropping it and spilling its contents, which included a half-eaten sandwich, a rubber chicken, and a roll of toilet paper. Mrs. Jenkins, trying not to laugh, began slowly placing bills into the sack. But as the bandit reached to grab it, he tripped over his own shoelaces and fell flat on his face. The entire bank erupted in laughter as the bandit scrambled to his feet, grabbed the bag, and dashed out the door, leaving a trail of rubber chicken squeaks in his wake. The incident was the talk of the town. The local newspaper, the Willow Creek Gazette, dubbed him the Bumbling Bandit and ran a front-page story complete with a cartoonish sketch of the hapless thief. Despite his ineptitude, the bandit managed to evade capture, much to the amusement and frustration of the townsfolk. The next week, the Bumbling Bandit struck again, this time at the grocery store. Mr. Thompson, the store owner, was restocking shelves when the bandit burst in, waving a banana like a weapon. "Everybody down. This is a stick-up," he yelled. The customers looked at each other, bewildered. Mr. Thompson sighed and calmly walked over. "You know that's a banana, right?" The bandit glanced at the banana in his hand and his shoulders slumped. "Yeah, I know. Just give me the money." Mr. Thompson handed over a small stack of bills, and the bandit made a run for it, but not before slipping on a puddle of spilled milk and sliding into a display of canned beans. Cans rolled everywhere, and the bandit scrambled to his feet, grabbed his bag, and bolted out the door, slipping once more on the way out. By now, the entire town was in stitches over the Bumbling Bandit's antics. Children imitated him in their games, and adults traded stories about his clumsy escapades. Yet, despite his repeated failures, the bandit remained at large. One evening, Sheriff Hanks decided it was time to put an end to the bandit's spree. He devised a plan to set a trap at the town's most beloved establishment, Gracie's Diner. Word was spread that the diner had just received a shipment of high-quality steaks, the perfect lure for the bandit, who had a known penchant for food. Gracie, the diner owner, agreed to play along. She placed a sign in the window advertising that steak special and left the back door unlocked. Sheriff Hanks and his deputies hid inside, ready to catch the bandit in the act. Sure enough, just after midnight, the Bumbling Bandit crept into the diner. He made his way to the kitchen, where he found the steaks. He couldn't resist. He grabbed a handful and stuffed them into his bag. As he turned to leave, he tripped over a mop bucket, sending steaks flying in every direction. The deputies sprang from their hiding places, but the bandit was too quick. He darted towards the door, only to slip on a greasy spot on the floor and crash into a stack of trays. The deputies pounced, but the bandit wriggled free, diving headfirst into a booth and getting stuck between the seats. Sheriff Hanks and the deputies stood there for a moment, staring at the bandit's flailing legs. Then they burst into laughter. The Bumbling Bandit, unable to extricate himself, finally gave up. All right. You got me," he groaned. They helped him out and unmasked him, revealing none other than Larry, the town's most notorious but dim-witted prankster. Larry had always been known for his elaborate jokes, but no one had expected him to take it this far. "Larry, what were you thinking?" Sheriff Hanks asked, shaking his head. Larry shrugged sheepishly. "I thought it would be fun, you know. Like in the movies." The town, though relieved, couldn't stay mad at Larry for long. He was given a stern talking to and a community service sentence that included cleaning up the messes he'd made during his escapades. The town council also decided that Larry should use his prankster talents for good, organizing an annual Bumbling Bandit Day to raise funds for local charities, and so, every year, the townsfolk of Willow Creek would gather to celebrate the memory of the Bumbling Bandit with games, food, and laughter. Larry, now reformed, became the event's MC, delighting everyone with his tales of misadventure and proving that sometimes, even the most bumbling of bandits can turn their lives around for the better.